Hey guys, this is IXRoll@IX with the Rollout Reviews, bringing you another Crossfight B-Daman review. This time it is CB-27 Metal Force Core. Now this is a control-type tune-up gear and is pretty much a replacement for the normal Force Core on Force Dragrin. Not a whole lot going on in the packaging here. Open this up, you have instructions on the inside, but that is about it. You have the Force Core itself on the inside, and you have the trigger. Now, the trigger on the Force Core is needlessly difficult to get in there because it has this little track on the bottom. So you sort of have to pull the spring back or off to the side, which is, again, just sort of annoying to do. And then sort of wedge this in there. And then get the spring in separately. This little track does absolutely nothing. It's completely useless. Push this in, it still wiggles around. That was a problem on the normal Force Core, and just for comparison, on just another core that doesn't even have that track, it's exactly the same. It does not help at all. But here is the Metal Force Core. It does have a bit of die-cast on the front here, so it has a nice heft to it. But honestly, aside from that, it's very, very similar to the normal Force Core you get with Force Dragrin. There is some slight remolding on the bottom there, because this bottom section is actually screwed into place, rather than having to clip into place. And that's good because it stays together, but it also means that this screw goes all the way through, and just like the Excel Core, you can't pull this apart. There's a little bit of leeway room, but you don't want to risk breaking it. That's unfortunate, because earlier head parts are going to have a hard time getting in there without stressing the back part. Now, fortunately, the Force 1 head part here, or the Dragrin 1 head part, this plastic is a little bit stronger than your other ones. Even though it doesn't have a split in the center, more often than not, it's not going to stress when you plug it into place. So that's good, I suppose, but yeah, it's still unfortunate that it doesn't split apart like the normal Force Core does here. Now, the upper claws at the top are also screwed into place, which again is nice. The fact that something that came off pretty easily before is now much more solid. But the only bit of metal on this are on the claws. Unlike some of the other metal cores where there was some metal up here and on the sides, no, it's just the claws. And as far as I can tell, these claws really don't change performance all that much. So I don't know. It seems a little bit poorly placed. I mean, it looks cool. I like the way it looks. It's just relatively similar to the normal Force Core you get. The hold parts are exactly the same. Yes, the black plastic is a little bit tougher, it would seem, just by feeling it, than the one you get with Force Dragrin, but yeah, I'm not too impressed by this. Anyway, it does not come with the bolts or the core blocks, so you're going to have to provide those for yourself. This comes off and just plugs into the back. I don't have the stressing issue that I had with the Excel Core. It seems that every single metal core after the Excel Core doesn't have that problem, but this just clips into place, and you got that going for you. Again, I don't like the contrast between the chrome and the metal. I just think it looks bad, but we'll attach this to the Dragrin body set and, well, test it out. So we'll start off by doing a power test with the normal Force Core, just for comparison. So, first test, 2.73 meters per second. And the second test, 2.63 meters per second. And now for the metal core. First test, 3.36 meters per second. And second test, 3.19 meters per second. So it would seem that it's just a bit more powerful. Now, even though we're at pretty close range, I'm going to try and do a precision test here, starting with the normal Force Core. And it hit it pretty well. Now it is worth noting that this piece here sometimes likes to come loose, and the pieces on the inside, the upper sections of the hold parts, also like to come loose often, causing the core to veer off to the left a little bit. Obviously not something good for a control type core, so hopefully the metal version will do something to help that. And now for the metal version. Seemingly a lot more precise. While the top sections here are screwed into place, the upper hold parts are unchanged. However, they do stay in a little bit better on mine. That could be a quality control thing, but once again, it is worth noting. So even though it does fix this, on everyone's, it might not fix the other problem. Despite that, the build of it and the color of plastic seems to make it just a bit more solid and a little bit more enjoyable to fire overall. Now, this being my third metal core review, I'm going to start sounding a little bit like a broken record, but bear with me. This is absolutely a better core than the original Force core. I'm not denying that, but that said, I'm still not sure if it's worth it, especially in this case with such little metal content, honestly. The only metal in this just replaces the claws up front, and they're not even remolded or anything. It's the exact same mold, just in metal. Now, the build quality is a bit better. The plastic and, of course, the metal solidity, the whole thing screwed together, yes, it is better. It holds together a lot better, it's seemingly more accurate, and just a bit more powerful. But it's the exact same build. There's nothing new going on here, and it's, quite frankly, a bit boring. Honestly, if you're a big fan of Dragrin and want him in his, most perfect form, I guess, then I'd say go ahead and get it. But otherwise, I'm not sure I can recommend this as much as some of the other metal cores. If you're wanting to pick up all of them, this is probably the last one to get. So, that is about it, guys, and this is IX Roll at IX, signing off.